to another episode of Skinterviews. I am your host with the most, George Skandalis. And should I introduce you to him, or you already know him? This is my co-host, Nathan Strom.
Hello, everyone.
How excited are you?
I'm really excited.
I love when you do this. You know what? Do your kids do this when they eat? So I do that when I eat. If I really like something, I get, like my nephew does it too. We have this thing where it's like the happy dance of food.
My kids do this whenever they're happy. It's like all about that.
It's a genetic thing.
Maybe they just watch me. Maybe they watch us a lot more than we think.
Do you think your kids watch Skinterviews?
You know what? My daughter does watch a little bit of Skinterviews.
Well, you know what? I kind of like them, but I would suggest that our next guest is not one maybe your daughter would want to watch, because from what I hear, rumor has it every so often she gets a little excited, may drop an F-bomb.
Really?
Yes. I don't know if that's true. Should we savor the embarrassment and say it first?
Well, is this going to be good for ratings?
I don't know. Fuck rating. Okay, well, let's talk about who our guest tonight is. She is a tiny little bottle of perfume with this big mat of curly hair. She's an amazing human being, and she's a really good doctor and a really good injector, and she's got a really great practice. And actually, her receptionist, Mary, is one of my favorite people in this industry. I get along with her very, very well. She's a bit of a hard ass at that front desk, but she runs the place good, and they get along excellently. And I've become super fond of this doctor. In fact, during COVID, she keeps me busy. We talk 2 to 3 times a week. She always calls me up and she's like, "Can I ask you a quick question?" And then we end up talking for 20 minutes because she's got such an amazing personality. I don't want to say more about her and waste anyone's time from getting to know her. So without further ado, please welcome Dr. Stacie Curly-Haired Weber.
Woo! Hey, hello.
I
like that. Okay, that's all the dancing I've been doing lately. It's not good.
Come on, give me a little bit.
Little house party, we need music, guys. Like just say.
It's not in the production budget yet.
I hear ya.
How are you?
I am doing really well. Thank you for having me. This is exciting. I'd love nothing more than being on camera and talking. Who'll ever listen, right?
That's my kind of girl. Well, I know how you are because we've been talking. You've been extremely busy during this COVID season, I should call it. You're doing your runs, you're doing deliveries, you're reworking your business, which is super exciting. And we're going to talk all about that, but we're going to leave the professional stuff towards the end of the interview. I want people to get to know you.
Okay.
Because I rave about you, so I want them to know why, and I'm sure they're going to find out through this interview. So we're going to dive right into it.
Good. Let's get right to it. I'm good.
Full name at birth.
Pardon? My full name, Stacie Dawn Weisberg.
Weisberg. So Weber is your married name?
Nope.
Oh.
I know. So interesting. So this is so weird and random, but I was adopted at birth from my mom and her first husband, who she soon divorced when I was less than a year old. And then she remarried Willie Weber. And then he adopted me again. So I was adopted twice in my life by I guess he was my stepfather, but he raised me. So William Weber, and he had 2 daughters. So that's why when it came time to getting married to my husband, I never changed my name because I only got it when I was about 12 years old, and it meant a lot to me.
Wow. That's
awesome. I love that. That's probably been the most interesting name answer I've gotten. We did ask Dr. Torgerson if he had any meaning to his name. He says his last name means, was it Thor?
Thor, yeah.
Thor. Oh. That was pretty good, but I think you just topped that one.
And here's what's really interesting. So I grew up in Quebec, and in Quebec, when I had to get a new birth certificate. So they actually added an E to Dawn. My middle name is Dawn, and prior to that, it was DAWN, and now all my stuff has an E. So there you go. It's like Just I keep naming stuff as my life goes on, but that's okay.
Did your mom name you, or did she keep your name from birth?
Oh, I got more weird name stuff. Okay, so not my mom named me, but her first husband, who didn't last very long. And actually, my family does not call me Stacie. My nickname is Mady, and my entire family, some people don't even know that my name is Stacie. Wow. So my sisters will write me a letter, and it's Dear Mady, and they'll introduce me as Mady, Stacie, because my friends and everyone else. And in fact, when my mother called, my husband picked up the phone. This is when we were kids, and she asked for Mady, and he said, "You have the wrong number."
I love it.
So, okay, so sorry, I know it takes up a lot of time, but very interesting naming stuff, right?
This is good. See, there's things I learned today that I didn't know about you, and I've gotten to know you well. So I'm going to call you Mady from now on.
Well, Mady means it's kind of like abbreviated from Shana Bentley, which is like cute little girl.
How fitting.
There you go. See?
You have siblings?
I do. I have an older brother and two older sisters. None of them are biologically related, but they're my family.
Do they have curly hair like you?
No, my sisters, I threw in a picture, I think, black hair, blue-eyed. They're little, though, so they're all little. So at least that,
You match somewhere and all that.
Somewhere. We look little, but my sister, like, they look like twins, and I look like their friend.
Amazing. And you've got a beautiful family of your own. We're going to pull up a picture here. You're married with two lovely boys.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me a little bit about all these pictures I'm seeing here.
Well, I kind of wanted the old and the new. So there's Dad with the little ones when they were probably like 2 and 4. And then the other one where everyone's standing all straight was just from a few weeks ago. During Passover, which was awesome. The fur coats. Okay, so my mother-in-law passed away, unfortunately, about 16 years ago, and she left me her fur coats. And the kids found them and decided to dress up like gangsters. Yeah, and then we were on a cruise, and we got to use those, whatever they're, the Segways on the beach. Like, how much fun is that, right?
That looks really cool.
Yeah.
Tell me about this picture all the way on the left.
So all the way on the left. So I don't have a lot of pictures from high school. And, thank goodness, just remember when I was young, you could do bad stuff and like no one knew about it unless they were there. And then if they were your friends, they didn't talk about it. Like no one posted it. But I'm at camp there and I'm 16 years old. And that's my very dear friend, Rob Blumenstein, who now lives in California. And I had a lot of hair then too.
I love it.
Yeah. And I think I had braces. That's why I'm definitely not smiling. I had braces at the time, and I just had a lot of hair and didn't really get the hold on the hair product yet.
Now, one of your boys is a talented actor, correct?
He does some acting. He has an agent. The older one, he kind of looks like Spicoli from Fast Times at Ridgemont High. He has a crazy wavy hair, and he's just very kind of surfer dude-ish. I don't know, he wears Tweety Bird sweatpants, and he just loves life. So, yeah, so he's done a bit of acting, a bit of modeling, and he's just happy to have his girlfriend living with us now during COVID, which is awesome, and I am so happy to have another woman in the house. I can't tell you, it's Toilet Tuesdays today, so the bathrooms got cleaned.
Hey. Listen, you're on an interview with two men here, okay?
I hear you.
Tell me about your other son. What does he like to do? What does he aspire to be so far?
He's an athlete. He loves football. He loves basketball. But recently, he's taken up guitar. Since we're kind of stuck at home, and I ordered online. I'm not an online shopper at all. I really love the tactile, like being there. I love service. I love things that are merchandised beautifully for me. So I find this very hard, but I bought him a keyboard through Amazon. So he's been learning how to play guitar and play the keyboard.
So I was just saying the other day to my better half that I want to buy an acoustic guitar and learn how to play guitar. I don't know where this came from, but it's my new thing right now. So I've been looking at guitars every day online, but I'm like you, I want to go and I want to feel it. And I have no idea what I'm going to do with a guitar. Like I'm between buying a guitar, a Palatone, and a mic. And it's just like whichever hobby is going to last for 2 weeks during COVID. But enough about me, because everybody sees me 3 times a week now on here. We're going to take you with Nathan to elementary school.
Okay.
Yeah. Would love to hear about your school days. Talk to us about your school days.
I grew up, well, I said it in Montreal, but as a kid, I lived in Laval, which is kind of like the adjacent city, which we all call Montreal. And I went to Souvenir Elementary School. I only learned French until grade 5. So in fact, there are still some words that I didn't learn the English word till way later in life. So when I talk to someone and I use the word castor, I said, oh, a castor. And they're like, they didn't really know. And I didn't know the word. And I said, oh, it's on the back of a nickel. And they were like, oh, it's a beaver. But right. So stuff like that, which is kind of funny.
I had no idea what it was.
I guess it had never come up in conversation at my house. Like, oh, look, a beaver made a dam in our backyard. Didn't happen. And I don't know. I was good at school. I liked school. School for me was easy. I loved math. I loved English. I loved my teachers. The coolest thing about the elementary school I went to is behind we had 2 full baseball fields and then cross-country ski trails behind that. So for gym, we got to go cross-country skiing, which is kind of cool. Yeah, so I guess that's when I was really little. I don't remember that much, but I remember that. I was valedictorian. That's kind of funny, but in French. There was an English and I did the French valedictorian speech. So
I love it. So was being a doctor always on the cards?
No. I kind of, you know, when people say, oh, life happens and you just find like things happen for a reason or who knows. I don't know if when I was a kid, I probably wanted to be a ballerina. I remember watching Fame and getting on my ballet slippers and dancing, and it was like the best time. And then I'm 5'1", so that's not going to happen. And then in high school, I was introduced to technical drawing, and I really liked that. I was good at it, and I loved math and physics, and I wanted to be an architect. Like I wanted to build like bridges and skyscrapers and airplanes and like really cool stuff. So I thought that would be awesome. And then when it came to sort of post-secondary, that was in the early 90s, and computers were starting to be the thing. And if I know anything, I know that I have a computer virus in my body. And I have SADMAC'd. I don't know if you've ever done that, where you see the yellow face come up with X's for eyes. You're not supposed to be able to do that. So I knew early on that even though, because I loved math and physics. Those were the sciences I think I really loved. I felt they explained the world. Like when you could kind of figure stuff out. And I loved the drawing. So I thought architect, and then they said, but you need to learn computers. And I said, no. So that was kiboshed. And then I ended up in undergrad doing anatomy. I had a really good friend who was 2 years older than me, and she was at McGill in undergrad doing anatomy and cell biology. And I guess I said, oh, I'll try it. Like, why not? And I loved it, and I did well at it. And I really loved the anatomy, and I took histology, and I took, I guess, a lot of the pre-med type courses. And that worked for me. And I like working with people more than computers. Although I wish I was a little better at computers, and I try, but I find it hard. I really struggle. So it just seemed like this natural unfolding, like my love of science and then the constant learning that you have to do in medicine, and my comfort with people. So
and the artistry, though, and the artistry. I mean, you're an injection doctor, so understanding artistry and anatomy and the architecture of the face. That's why you're so good at what you do.
Well, that's why how it was so nice, because later in life, so I worked as a family physician. And I like doing it. I love my patients. I was really competent. But I think when I started adding the cosmetic and the injectables around 2005 exactly is when I started. So we're heading into 15 years. We're in our 15th year. I really finally found what was my calling, where the artistry, the science, the human interaction all like met together and just made me feel great every day. What I could do for people, how I could interact with people. I felt like I was making a difference, and I do every day. I love it.
That's awesome. So tell me, being a kid, you sound like you have a lot of fun.
Cool.
I want to hear a funny story.
So I was thinking about this. Okay, so we were 4 kids, and older than me. So we used to, in true 70s form, all get on one banana seat bicycle. So my older sister was pedaling. My younger sister was on the bar. My brother was standing on the spokes of the bike, and I was on the handlebars. Okay, but remember, it's June. We are not wearing helmets. We're in bathing suits, no sunscreen. Going down the road, see how many of us could get on this bike. So I was thinking that was pretty fun. And I never broke anything. I never got like tossed off the bike face first. I probably should have, because when you think of all the dangerous stuff we used to do as kids, but that was a memory that was really fun.
The good old days.
Yes.
I want you to tell me now an adult funny story, because I know you've got buckets full, and you're combing them through your head now. Like, which ones can I say on this? What's so weird? But
okay, so this was actually terrifying but funny at the same time. I am writing my medical school exams. So these exams are held twice a year, and I am in the hotel. My good friend doing my residency is in the room next to me. There's partying going on, like kids for high school graduation or whatever. And in the morning, so I'm the first exam. I'm like, I have to be there at 8. So I set my alarm for 6. I'm going to have a little workout, my shower, all set up, right? So don't I get into the bathroom, and it was an old hotel. It was in Hamilton. So like old big wooden doors, like they don't make anymore. And I get into the washroom, and I close the door, I have my shower, and then I notice there's only a hand towel, like one of those little towels. They didn't leave towels in my room. And I'm like, oh, should I say, you know what, I'll just shower. I'll dry off my body, then I'll be fine. Who cares, right? I'm alone in the room. Well, so don't I get out of the shower and like use this one little hand towel to dry off. And then I go reach for the doorknob, and it comes off in my fucking hand. Okay, and I am now locked in the bathroom, and I have an exam to be at. And if I don't write this exam now, I can't do it for another 6 months. And I'm like, stuck. Like, what do you do? I'm dying. I forget the shower. I'm sweating now. I'm holding a doorknob, holding a towel, and I'm naked and still dripping and just horrible. So I compose myself, and I'm like, okay, if I don't write this exam, it's 6 months, then I can't start working. And remember, as a doctor, like you're almost 30 when you start working.
Wow.
So you haven't made money till then. I can't start working, and I had just found out I was pregnant. So that also just like kind of made everything crazy, because I need to work. Anyway, so I thought, okay, I sat on the toilet and just started crying, and I said, okay, they're going to find me here in 2 days. And I don't know what I'm going to cover with the towel, like which part of my body naked. So anyway, I MacGyvered my way out. I MacGyvered my way out. I emptied out my tube of toothpaste to try to shove it in the door thing to catch. Didn't work. I lifted the whole toilet. It was one attached to the wall. Didn't work. There was like this weird piece of metal under the sink. And I took the towel and I like this for like a half an hour till I broke the piece of metal off, jammed it through the door, catched the lock that opens it, and got out. And then I didn't miss my exam. But I went to the lobby to tell them what happened. And they're like, oh, why didn't you call us? I said, because I didn't stay at the fucking Hilton and there's no phones in the bathroom. Like I tell you, though, it was the easiest exam I've ever written because the MCCQE, you have live interviews with people and you have to ask them pointed questions. And while they're telling me about their horrible medical condition they have, all I'm thinking is like, you think that was bad? Like, do you want to hear what happened to me this morning? Okay, sorry. I know that took a long time, but that's a funny story.
No, that's a good story.
So if I ever come to your house and leave the bathroom door wide open when I go, you know what?
I love any story with nudity.
Remind me never to get on your bedside. You are quick on your feet. Oh,
yeah.
Oh my God. I think I'm sweating thinking about it. Like, it was so stressed. I actually have the letter that the Holiday Inn sent me saying, we're sorry for the inconvenience. And I'm thinking, I was going to sue you for like 6 months of salary. And like, sorry for the inconvenience of the doorknob falling off.
Imagine going to the lawyer to explain your situation. I want to sue a hotel for this.
Well, yeah. So that's funny. It's funny because I took the exam, I passed, I had my baby, like everything went well, but it could have been kind of bad. But it's
very different. Absolutely.
It's funny.
Tell me about your prom dress because you're somebody that wears awesome outfits. They're larger than life. And I was thinking to myself, what am I going to ask her that I haven't asked anybody else on the show? So
wow.
I want to know what your prom dress looked like.
So I don't know if I even have a picture of it, but this was 1989. It was one shoulder off with it was black.
How big was it?
Shoulder off, tight, all the way down with a big colored on the shoulder that was on like it looks like someone took a pillow, put it on my shoulder. The other shoulder had, and a big shoulder pad, right? With this big, like, stream of color. It was awesome.
Amazing. Did you go through the whole Madonna and lace tops and the rosaries and the this and that? Because with the star earrings.
I have to say, so my mother was not very pleased when I came home with what she thought was a cross, because we're Jewish. Just saying. Yeah. And I'm like, but it's an ankh. And like Madonna has one, right? Because it has like the circular and the whole rosary. Yeah, I had like the gummies that we used to steal from the vacuum cleaners, right? Because they were the little belt thing that on the vacuum. I don't know. But we had the bracelets and the ripped mesh tops over the tank tops. Yeah.
What do you remember one of your favorite Madonna songs from that period of time?
Oh, you know what? That's like, which one isn't good? I mean, like when Like a Virgin came out, right? Like who didn't love that? Just the way it starts, the beginning of that song, and it sounds so ethereal and amazing.
How did it start again?
Let's go, yeah.
No. That you can't take me there. Singing is not my thing. I will dance. I will make jokes, but I leave the singing to people who can do that.
We've had a few singers on this show, so we try to get it out of them. You were smarter than that. You were.
Yeah. No, I don't know if I'm tone deaf, but I'm a little tone ignorant, and so I'm not really good at singing. It's not my thing.
You know what? When it comes to the next question, Nathan never lets me ask it because I love food. So I'm going to hand you over to him. Ooh. But he wants to know all about dinner. So go ahead, Nathan.
Yeah. So this is going to be interesting. I'm really looking forward to your answer here, actually. Okay. So are you a chef? Do you do the cooking at home?
I'm a reluctant chef.
Okay.
I wish I loved cooking. I don't mind cooking if it takes longer to eat than it does to cook. like short order cook, right? So like omelets, I make amazing. I do cook, and I have lots of staples that I cook. But I love to eat way more than I like to cook.
Okay. Well, this next question is going to be interesting. 3 people you can invite to dinner, dead or alive. Who are they and why? And are you cooking for them or are you ordering in?
Interesting. Okay, so the 3 people. Stephen King.
Oh, we've never gotten that one. That's a first.
Yeah.
I think I've read almost every Stephen King book. There's a new one out. I haven't read it. I'm very excited. That's my next. Like, I just, as an author, he engages me in a way. The characters are real. I want it and creepy, and sometimes amazing. And I would love to sit down and like just see how his mind works. Like I just think he's amazing. And I have read I've stayed up till 4 a.m. because I was too scared to go to sleep reading some of his books. And so I think that would be one person. The other person would be Jane Fonda.
Oh, I love her.
And I know I love her, and not because she's an actress, because I think there's not a lot of actors or actresses on my list, because I think I like the characters they play, right? So like, I don't want to meet Harrison Ford. I want to meet Indiana Jones, right? And so I think most actors, they're good at acting, but they might not be the most interesting people. Whereas Jane Fonda, I feel like, I don't know, she's lived such a life, and so I remember doing the Jane Fonda workout when I was in high school. Yeah. Like that was the best, like, right, on audio tape with her describing, or on my VHS or whatever. So I think she'd be just to hear her life story and her experiences, and the acting part that she does is just a small bit of what I know about her, or what I would like to know. And then the third person I would invite would be my mother-in-law, who unfortunately passed away about 16 years ago, who was an amazing woman, but she also knew how to throw a party. So like, she would tell me exactly what to serve, where to get it, or how to make it, and make it look fabulous. Like, she could serve McDonald's and you would think it was gourmet.
I love it.
Not that she ever did, and I miss her dearly, but I'm just saying I'd love her there for many reasons, but she would make sure it went really well.
Awesome. So are you cooking, or are you ordering in for these people?
We have been cooking. We have been cooking lots. I did that, order in a while ago, Chef's Plate or whatever. Yeah. And so I have all these recipes. I make a wicked tandoori chicken with mango salad. Who knew? And the spaghetti and meat sauce. And so kind of simple stuff, chicken soup. Tonight I made easy roast chicken. It has 5 ingredients, and a Greek salad, which I love Greek salad. And there's always a salad. And I did get a little pissed off the other day when I was trying to do the meal plan for the week. So every day was a different salad that had a really not nice word in front of it. It was like F-U salad and F-off salad and mother trucking F-in salad. And that's what we're all eating because no one's helping.
You were honestly so fascinating, and George speaks so highly of you. After this isolation, I'm going to invite myself around for dinner at your house, I think.
That would be awesome. And we just opened our pool, so we can have it outside.
I would love that. And I want to show some photos now, because you seem like you have a pretty amazing life in regards to a lot of energy, and you get up to a lot of things. And I'm just going to show you a collage of photos, and just talk us through this.
Okay, so you kind of have me there looking at a beautiful golf course in Mexico. I really love to golf. If I could figure out how to incorporate golf and maybe make money doing it, that would be so awesome. But I spend a lot of my free time golfing. I love running. And then you can see I was a finisher at one of the MEC races. It was 15K, and loved it. And I felt great after. And so I love running, not too long distance. My husband and I, in our matching Canada biking suits, we did a biking trip in Champagne, France, which was totally amazing. I would recommend it to anyone. We biked all day and drank champagne all night. There we are skiing in Vail, which was beautiful. I only learned how to ski. Oh, I'll say this. I only learned how to golf and ski after I had kids. So in my mid-30s, and run. Actually, I didn't do any of that stuff before. So I think great on me that I found all these amazing passions. And that top one in the right, yes, that is my ballet recital costume. I took ballet, and we were a group, 4 women and 1 man. And that woman next to me, my very dear friend, Alicia, who's like a foot taller than me, but I'm on a stair, you would never know. And we did a recital. There, you know, the 4-year-olds, 5-year-olds, 8-year-olds, and then like the embarrassing adult ballet and adult hip hop classes somewhere in between. But it was awesome and super fun. And ballet is really great for posture and strength. I have a picture of me glass blowing in New Orleans, which was super fun too. I, once, even though love to travel, but love to figure out what to do. So we were in New Orleans, we went glass blowing, we did a Cajun cooking class. That one smack in the middle, that's my husband and myself and Elvis. Renewing our vows for our 20th wedding anniversary.
Oh, congrats.
Awesome. Congrats.
So that was fun. Above that are me and my sisters. Remember I said black hair, blue-eyed?
Yeah.
Those are the 2 girls. Billy Joel. Actually, that was just this fall. We got tickets to see Billy Joel in a box. And someone said, do you like Billy Joel? And we're like, yeah. They're like, well, tickets are free, but you have to get your way to New York. And we're like, we are there. It was awesome.
Wow.
Super fun. And then the bottom right is just a group of friends at our cottage. So we bought that cottage probably 2009 now, 2008. And really every time we're not doing something else, that's where we are.
It's a beautiful cottage. I saw one of when we asked you to submit the pics, I actually saw one of them and I was like, look at her cottage. It's secluded. It's gorgeous. It's right on the lake.
Well, our cottage is built. It's 70 years old. There's lots of attachments. I always say it's a little too old to be like nice and a little too young to be quaint. It's a cottage, right? Like it's not fancy in any way, but you know what? We've had up to 16 guests at one time. We didn't sink that dock, and we do love being there and love entertaining. And now since COVID, I think my husband has figured out I could probably spend the whole summer at the cottage and work remotely.
Absolutely.
Right? I can't,
awesome.
Unfortunately, but that's okay because I still want to be able to golf, and I can't do that at the cottage. So
you play hard, you go hard, you live such a fascinating life. You run a very successful clinic. Tell some of the viewers, or if there's a young viewer out there who's wanting to say walk in your footsteps, what sort of advice would you give them, or is there an obstacle that you've faced in your career before that you've had to overcome that's really got you to where you are today? I'd love to know that.
I think I play hard now, and I do. And I never, in fact, I was looking at pictures when I was looking at pictures for you guys, and I saw a picture of a friend and I. We were in Nova Scotia in the fall in a golf trip. We did the Cabot Trail, and we golfed around there. And I said, so when are we going to Scotland? She's like, as soon as we lift the restrictions, right? Because she also loves golfing. But when I was younger, so in my teens and 20s, I worked really hard. And not a lot of people, I guess, know this because I don't necessarily tell them, but I moved out when I was 18 and had to support myself and pay for school and pay for living. So I had to work really hard. And I waitressed, I cleaned houses, I tutored, and all 3 at the same time because I had to pay rent and tuition. Now, growing up in Quebec, tuition is cheap, so I was very lucky, but all the other expenses were still there. So now when I kind of am reaping a bit of the rewards where I get to make my own schedule and decide when I'm going to work, I love it. In fact, I was discussing with a friend recently about retiring, and I'm like, I could do this forever. And what do I want to do when I retire? If I had a list of things, I just say to myself, well, why don't I do that now?
Yeah.
So if I want to go travel, I might not be able to go for 6 months and live in Ecuador if that's what I want, but why can't I go for a 10-day bike trip in Ecuador or wherever that is? So I think for someone who's younger, that, 20 years passes really quickly. And if you spend an hour a day on something, after 20 years, you get pretty good at it. So if you find something that you love doing, and it'll reap its own rewards, I guess, in a certain amount, that perhaps later on you get that opportunity just to enjoy the benefits and not have to be certain.
I love you. Like your son is so lucky to have you. You'll be the funnest mum to be with on isolation.
Except when I made them clean the toilets. They don't like that. or when I said I'm going to go on laundry strike.
Don't do that. Don't no laundry strike. Tell me something about our industry we're going to talk a little more about what's going on in our industry right now with coronavirus when we get back to Nathan. But looking at our industry, and there's a lot of positives. We do a lot of great things for a lot of people. There's always a stigma about whether it's vanity or not, but we are changing people's lives in many ways. Tell me something that you would change about our industry that pisses you off about our industry that you would like to see different.
I guess I just want everyone to do a good job. I want everyone to be accountable for how we assist people to make those small changes. If someone's 45 or 50, I don't want to look like I did when I was 20. I don't want that. I want to look like the best version of me. So I think, we let people are so consumed with, I guess, wrinkles as a sign of aging. And so getting rid of all those wrinkles sometimes makes people look not so human anymore. And I think that people need to not do that. To say it's the wrinkles that you see with your magnifying 20 mirror, like throw that thing out the window. Right? Because that's not what people see. People see when you're happy. People see when you smile. Exactly. When you animate, you look very different than when you're like sitting at rest and looking unhappy. I think hang on, my computer died.
No, we still got you.
Oh, but you see, I'm leaning in. I lost you. I have to I was leaning in because I had to type the password in again.
I thought you were coming in for a kiss. I was like,
oh. But I think that's what I wish people would stop doing. Stop searching for that whole, let's just look good. And when we look good or feel like we look good, we kind of exude this glow and this happiness that people sense, right?
What my question though is, in defense of that, there are people though that think that extreme, exaggerated, overstuffed, overfilled, puffy duck lips, big cheeks, that they feel that they look good like that. Where is the regulation that people are medically responsible for what they're doing? And I ask this because literally before our interview, I saw on a Facebook stream this girl that has her 20th lip injections within a year or something. Her lips are literally, they don't even look lifelike. They're cartoon-like. They're that big. Wow. And there's somebody medically on the other side of this that's injecting them. I mean,
which is upsetting because I think anyone in their right mind shouldn't do that. I think sometimes you have to, the selfie is a very disturbing way to look at yourself because, the filters and everyone, I had a 20-year-old want a more defined jawline and higher cheekbones. And I could totally do that. I said, but what makes you look like a beautiful 20-year-old is the fullness of your face.
Yeah.
Because, honey, when you get to my age, you'll get the cheekbones. So, right? So that's so.
Promise.
Yeah. So I said, so I could do that for you, and you will look like a beautiful 30-year-old. Is that what you want? Right? So this exaggerated, I don't know if it's the media, if it's the selfie that distorts our faces. It makes everyone's nose look bigger. Everyone, like it's not a natural image because you're so close to that silly camera.
Yeah.
And I think physicians, most physicians that I know, do feel accountable and try to say no and talk people off. But I think there are people out there, and like you said, which does upset me because we don't have the same regulations in our community to stop people from doing this, to say it's unsafe, that your lips could fall off or whatever it is, and you look comical. Because I would imagine if they had friends that they would tell them.
I'd hope so. You run a very successful business. I'm happy to be a part of it. And I want to know if you were giving advice to your younger self about what you're living now. I'm not so much during coronavirus, because that's going to be the next part of the interview. But if you were giving advice to your younger self 10 years ago about what you're doing in business now, what is the first thing you would tell yourself then? Like, what is the first thing to look for?
Well, I would probably have said to take a business course while I was at university, and I had instead of the elective in philosophy or North American history or something that I took, like maybe a course in business, because we don't get a lot of that in medicine. And a lot is just learn as we go and figure stuff out and make a lot of mistakes trying to figure out about marketing and figure out about being an employer even. I think in med school and residency, we got one full day on how to run a practice. So that would be good. And I'd also kind of don't sweat the small stuff. Like, don't let my ego or what I think I should do or what I think people think I should do get in my way of making my choices. I would probably have been where I am now a lot sooner had I been willing to just say, you know what, this is what's right for me. This is what I want. I don't have to satisfy anyone else at the end of the day except for me and my family, who I love, who I want to be happy. But I think some things get delayed because you feel that you might be disappointing people who don't matter, really, in the scheme of things.
So you've lived an amazing life. You're such a happy human being, and it's such a breath of fresh air to interview you today.
Well, thank you.
You don't seem rattled with anything. Well,
Except for the toilets on Tuesday.
on Tuesdays.
Yeah.
And then this crazy virus, COVID, comes around. My first question is, at first, did COVID rattle you?
I think I have days where I wake up and I don't feel right. Partially because my what I do every day, my pattern, is so disrupted right now. So not being able to work, which I love my work, not being able to go out and go to the gym where I like going, like all these things have been very hard for me. Or just go out and hang with my friends, like go have a glass of wine at the end of the day. Like I love these things. So I do still have days now when I wake up and I just don't want to get out of bed. I really don't. And I don't want to get out of my pajamas, or it's 9 o'clock and I'm then, someone, I guess it must have been on Facebook or somewhere where they said, oh, it's 9 o'clock and I'm going to put on my night pajamas after I get out of my day pajamas. Right? Like I actually love dressing up and getting dressed and ready to do things. And so I find that very hard. Not so much rattled from a medical perspective in the sense that I'm fortunate that I don't take unnecessary risks, but I don't, so I'm not asking to get infected. I'm cautious when I go out. I've always been a hand washer. If you've ever been to my clinic, I wash my hands a ton. I'm very clean. I do try not to touch my face. But so from the medical perspective, I wasn't nervous. I just feel like there's this baseline anxiety everywhere. That people, if you get too close to them, everyone's like, we should tie hockey sticks around us, like a hockey stick skirt. So you spin around and like whack people if you're closer than 2 meters, right? If you get in my hockey stick range. So I do get rattled, and I probably let it out on my family a little bit more than I should. And I have meltdowns, and I'm a bit of a screamer. Oops, a screamer and a swearer. It's not very good. And then an apologizer, right? For like, oops, that wasn't very nice of mom to say those things. And then just try to do the things I love doing. Get out for my runs. I have a spin cycle, so I bike ride. I exercise every day. I'm looking forward to the golf courses being open so I could get out and do that. And yeah.
Amazing. Cool. So your business then, like, what are you doing to pivot around the coronavirus then? And are you expecting we're going to go into isolation again? And are you planning for that?
I think what'll happen is that I'll probably be able to open up. I'm hoping by the beginning of next month. I don't know if that's realistic, but I'm starting to put a plan in place. How we're going to see patients differently, how we're going to have a parking lot waiting room instead of a waiting room, how we're going to minimize the points of contact, because I think that's important, how we're going to, the extra time it's going to take to clean, what type of personal protective equipment we are going to need and offer to our patients. I don't even know if we'll be able to treat the lower face if people have to be masked, so that might be an issue. And I'm hoping if we do this reopening wisely, that unfortunately this might be the case for the next year where we have to work differently, but that we won't have to shut down again. Yep. So I think that's what I'm hopeful for. So if we do it wisely and everyone is taking precautions, that we won't have this huge surge of cases again that requires us to shut down all our non-essential services. Exactly. So looking into really eliminating points of contact. That's my biggest, what I've been doing for the past few days, kind of making a list. So what is the journey going to be from first call to visit to the office? How are we going to accept payment in a way that protects our employees and our patients? And hopefully, like I said, in a few weeks, we'll be starting to see people slowly and working through the kinks.
Amazing.
Yeah,
you are a great interview, and
thanks.
I knew you would be from the moment that we spoke about this. So I'm glad that you've decided to be on the show. And I always get sad when we have these good interviews and we get towards the end of our interview. But we're getting into our quick fire questions.
Okay.
And I want you to answer them as quickly as possible with as little as thought as you can put in them, and your and its answer. First thing that comes to mind. Shall we go?
All right.
Red or blue?
Green.
Black or white?
Black.
Cats or dogs?
Cats.
Vodka or tequila?
Vodka.
Champagne or wine?
Ooh, wine.
Stuck in isolation for 12 more weeks. One skincare product you take with you?
Oh, my hydrogel.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Nathan or me?
Oh, that's not fair. I just met Nathan.
That's okay.
That's not fair. I won't answer.
All right. We're now going to ask you our final 2 questions of the night. Nathan gets to do them because he likes to close the show.
Okay.
I'll throw it back to you, George, to really close. Just before I ask these last 2 questions, thank you so much. Honestly, your energy that you brought to the show is just amazing.
Excellent. Thank you.
I really can't wait to get out and meet you in person, because maybe come over for dinner and
someone once described me or introduced me as this is Stacie, Dr. Weber, the woman with no filter. And I said, "Oh, you should know how high my filter is, honey."
Yeah. I'll just make sure I come over on Wednesdays so I know the toilets are nice and clean.
That's good.
And I won't have to do them myself.
Exactly.
But you mentioned the hydrogel is a favorite product of yours. What's your current skincare routine for isolation?
I'm really good in the morning. I cleanse in the shower. I use my toner, my vitamin C, my hydrogel, my AHA, BHA, my moisturizer, and my sunscreen.
Nice.
That's a pretty awesome routine.
But at night I'm not as good. I wash and moisturize.
Put some retinol on there and you're good to go.
If I'm lucky. My night is, for some reason, I just brush my teeth and just want to find bed.
We all get like that sometimes. Now, in the last question before I hand you over to George to close the show, who would you like to see us interview next, and can you help us make that happen?
I know this amazing doctor who lives in Kelowna, BC, Dr. Jana Bentley, who does exactly what I do, but she's also head of like the Phlebologist Society of Canada. So she does the laser vein stuff.
Yeah.
And she's kind of mellow, awesome, and I've never seen anyone. She wears like a cute little mini dress. She's about 6 feet tall with like combat boots.
Wow.
Okay, so she's an awesome lady. And
does she have as much energy as you?
I think she can. I mean, that's a hard bill to follow. I know. My husband does call me the Energizer Bunny, so it just right.
Now let's keep it PG.
I'm gonna tell her, and she might be like, "Yeah, don't do that to me." But she's an awesome lady and very interesting and super smart. So I think I'll have a good time.
Thank you so much.
We'd love to have her on, and we'd love to come visit you at the cottage and have a good meal.
Okay,
there.
I've extended the invitation.
I cook, so you're good.
Perfect.
And then I'm not good at the cleanup, and I'm a messy chef, but I'll make you a damn good meal.
And eating is just way more fun than cleaning. I get it.
Absolutely. That's why I'm going this way. So Stacie, it was amazing having you on the show, and I thank you so much for being here. And I want you to give a big hug and a kiss when you can to all your staff at your clinic. And
I will. We're actually doing a Zoom cocktail this Thursday.
Perfect. Tell them I love them, and I can't wait to see them up close and personal again.
I will. Thank you. Nice to meet you, Nathan.
It's so nice to meet you as well. You take care. Look after that family of yours.
Awesome.
Thank you, everyone, for watching Skinterviews today. We hope you enjoyed the show with our guest, Stacie Weber, and, of course, my co-host, Nathan Strom. You can find us on Instagram on our professional pages, at Nathan Strom or at @the_skin_guy. Of course, make sure to follow at skin.terviews and find us on LinkedIn or YouTube by our full name, Skinterviews by Nathan and George. We hope you enjoyed the show, and we look forward to seeing you again with our next guest on Skinterviews. Take care.